Ladies and gentlemen, I have ascended. I told you I would be maining Caliban's hand this season. I have been, and I don't think that you're ready for what you're about to see. I have mastered them. This is a masterclass. Do me a solid, like, sub, and share this one. You have to try it. There's a specific way to run it, and you can use literally any weapon and loadout that you want. And with what I'm getting ready to show you, there are multiple ways to get these things going at any time. I'm gonna go through them all. Well, most of them. But before I do, I need you to understand why it's happening. And it gets to a point where if an enemy is right in front of you, you can get them. No problem. It's way easier than I thought, so there is a chance that this thing's gonna get nerfed. It's way stronger than I thought as well. So in this video, we're gonna talk about what to look for, how to do all this, everything. Shutting down supers, clever ways to use it, fast, crazy ways to use it. It's very complete. And here are a couple clips to get us started.
Darkness sets in. Don't your salvation. Guardian against guardian. Go down. If they're dead. Don't see happen. Double down. Triple down. Fantastic.
And let me tell you, there's a lot more of that coming and different ways to do it. There are so many ways. It's insane. Some of the ways follow the same rules, others don't. And there's a lot to explain and walk through. I want you to have the knowledge so you can use this in multiple scenarios. Caliban's hand, quick rundown. At the top of the description is my review in depth. We have Roast 'em. Your proximity knife scorches targets, it damages with its explosions, or ignites targets on a final blow. After throwing the proximity knife, you gain increased regeneration until the knife explodes. In PvE, it's still 50-50. In PvE, Ahamkara is better. But in the Crucible only, Caliban's hand will proc on the proximity detonation for a final blow. So at the time I showed you with that final blow, you could use something like a wave launcher, like Deafening Whisper. It was perfect to get it going. You would hit the ground with the wave, throw the knife in the general area, the proximity explosion would set them on fire for the ignite. But you don't have to do that. You can do a lot less. For your aspects and fragments, on your mark, knock them down, 5 fragment slots. The needed fragments. And later on in the video, I'm going to tell you why you need them. Char, your solar ignition spreads Scorch to affected targets. Eruption, your ignitions have increased area of effect. Torches, powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. Then Ashes, you apply more Scorch stacks to targets. I've rounded it out with Combustion, and I also recommend that too. Final blows with your super causes ignitions. It makes the golden gun the 7th column simulator. I also have on the seasonal artifact Fulmination. This all works without this mod, but since it's there, it's a good pick. Your ignitions do increase damage in an increased radius. It starts with Scorch. Scorch is what makes Caliban's hand deadly. You need 100 stacks to start an ignition. When you have Caliban's hand equipped, the explosive knife deals 60 Scorch stacks. And what's weird, even with Ashes, and that's the one that applies more Scorch to your targets, with Caliban the knife is capped at 60. No matter what, built-in 60 Scorch stacks. But other things greatly benefit from Ashes, like an incendiary grenade at base, it does a stack of 60 Scorch. But with Ashes on, it does 90. Remember, you need 100 to cause an ignition. So what I want you to know for now is that any Scorch stack that is applied, whatever that max stack for the ability is always going to be the same. So if the explosion from a grenade or a knife hits you, it only does 1 damage because you're way far away from it. It splashed you, it barely touched you. You're still going to have the max stacks of Scorch applied. So let's start with strategy 1, the knife trap. It's beautiful. Depending on the map, I get one almost every game. In heavy traffic areas, you know how people like to bait corners, a little chess match, maybe hovering in the corner, trying to bait it out. You can throw the knife because they're right next to you. There's cover in the way. You can dodge with Gambler's Dodge to get another knife back, then double stack the knives. Run away. If they touch the range of the knives, they will ignite and they will go down. Every time, even the outer range of it. And the best part is that if the trap fails, meaning that no one came around the corner, the knives will just explode, they'll go away. But what's cool, the exotic perk helps. You get increased melee regeneration until the knife explodes. So when they do explode, you already have that 3rd knife ready for your next opponent. High traffic areas, you can throw the knife trap. In trials, maybe the zone is coming, you can throw a knife on the wall, dodge, get another knife, throw it. If they get touched, they're gonna explode. It's 120 stacks, it will cause an ignition. And we're just scratching the surface on the things that you can do. Now the next one is just a small section. It's there if you need it, it needs to be said. The last resort. Caliban does not care. So if you're one shot, no way of surviving, maybe multiple enemies are just chasing you down. Throw the knife at your feet. Since you're in red critical health, the proximity catches them, which in turn is going to catch you, and you will detonate Caliban's hand, causing you to ignite and down them with the explosion. Or you can actually shoot the knife while you're red health, and that's going to down you, in turn cause you to ignite and collateral the approaching enemy. Needed to throw that in there. It's there if you need to. But now we start getting into some better things, some crazier strategies. Incendiary's hand. The incendiary grenade applies 90 Scorch with ashes. Huge area of effect. Big area of effect. So this isn't the main grenade to use, but you do want to use it or give it a chance on close quarters maps, in hallways, small corners, think Anomaly, Wormhaven, because there's nowhere for your enemy to go. You can splash them with the incendiary grenade, splash them with the explosive knife, and they will ignite. And that was the nade used in the opening clip in Trials. And when you use grenade combinations, really important note, you have to throw the knife first, then the nade. You do want fastball, that way you get that grenade out quick, but if you were to throw the grenade first, then the knife, it's like 2 times as long. You want to go knife first, then grenade. And actually, earlier in the clip, they were triple Bastion Titans. I got them before the final blows to win the round. I got them earlier within that round. So this goes into the next one, Caliban in numbers. Solar 3.0s everywhere. So if you have another Caliban user with you, or maybe a fire team, it's all shared. Now, it doesn't have to be a Caliban user, it could be other Solar 3.0, but at the opening of a Trials round, as an example, teams meet in the middle, or maybe at the beginning of a control game, or there's a lot of people on the zone. 2 or more players, throw the nade, throw the knife. There are 4 ways to catch ignitions, and side note, this one's crazy strong when you do it in numbers, because in certain areas, they can't do anything, they're done for. All they will do is ignite, and when they ignite, they spread the Scorch, they cause more ignitions. Very strong way to use it. You can use it in the opening of a Trials game, or maybe you guys spawn up, you and a teammate make a coordinated attack on an area, just let it fly and watch the ignitions happen. And then I just want to do another small section to reiterate the original findings. The Caliban wave. So dead messenger, explosive personality, they deal 130 on the ground, you follow it up with a knife. And again, the explosive knife doesn't have to hit them, just the proximity of it. And bonus for explosive personality because it has disruption break. If that knife misses, they're still vulnerable to kinetic damage. And there are more ways I'm going to talk about in the final section. They do work, but they wouldn't really make the list. But this one right here is the best way to run these, hands down. I've moved away from incendiary, I've moved away from wave. I put everything down. I can use anything I want, use this exclusively. The absolute best way is the Calibombo combo, or what my friends are calling the cool bow, patent pending. The best way is the fusion grenade. It's one of the fastest cooldowns in the game. At base, it's a minute 13. At tier 10, it's 28 seconds. The fusion grenade has massive aim assist as far as attaching to enemies. It applies Scorch, and you don't even need ashes on, because at base, it applies enough Scorch, combined with the base Caliban knife, it causes an ignition, but you do want all those things on there. You want ashes, you want char, because of what is happening. Your solar ignition spreads Scorch to targets, your ignitions are bigger, and you apply more Scorch to targets. And you're gonna need all that for bigger things. Knife first, fusion second, it is fast. When you tag them, again, just tag them, they ignite. Like a perfect example is this Kobe here on Midtown. Deep shot, the fusion hit for 43 damage. The knife hit for 39. Well, all Scorch stacks were applied, and ignition happens. Both of these things do not need to directly impact them. They just need to splash them, touch them. And that's why with things like Will of Radiance, if there's only one Warlock, it's just a Warlock, they will survive. You need to throw it when there are 2 or more enemies within the well. Because what happens, the ignition will go off, that will spread Scorch. It's like arc web. It will keep happening until there's nothing to ignite.
Well executed.
Supers in general, you can Calibombo combo them. It's crazy strong. And I'm getting multiple ignitions and collaterals every game, because anytime that you see someone, it can go down, anytime. And there's a high chance, a high success rate, it will happen, because it doesn't require you to actually hit them. It has to be next to them. It does require some building, but I'm going to tell you what's happening, where you can change it up. I do run tier 10 strength. I do recommend that. And remember, the knife will be faster as it's sitting there in the wall, or if the knife misses. And out of the gate with Radiant Light, plus 20 strength, the fragments, eruption, and combustion, those are plus 10 each, so out of the gate, plus 40 strength. You can make up 60. It's a 39-second knife, and you also have Gambler's Dodge to get the knife back when you're close to an enemy, and you also have the knife sitting on the ground giving you melee regeneration. For the Fusion Grenade, I try to match it. 8 Discipline is 36 seconds, Tier 10 Strength is 39. If you went Tier 9 Discipline is 33, 7 is 40. You can dial them both back, maybe 7 Discipline, 7 Strength. That's a 56-second knife, 50-second Fusion, but I do recommend getting them high. Because when you start doing this, the train doesn't stop. It is non-stop. I've had multiple picks in Trials of Osiris, multiple round wins. It's an explosive wombo combo. And quick note, when you do this combo, it will end in a grenade final blow ignition. There's a difference. If the Caliban knife is the final blow, that damage, that radius is larger, much larger. But the base grenade final blow, regular ignition, is just fine. The other grenades do work, but I don't recommend them. Like Trip Mine, it does apply Scorch, but Trip Mine damage is so heavy that the only time you're going to get an ignition with this combination is if there's a little distance between the two. Because the trip is delayed, the knife will immediately go off, then the Trip Mine will go off, well, the Trip Mine damage itself will down them. No Scorch is applied for the Trip Mine. You would need the Trip Mine to Scorch them, then have the knife do it. So I don't recommend the combination. Like Swarm Grenades, they will work, but every swarm needs to hit them. It's not worth it. Thermite, you need 3 waves. Not going to work. Solar Grenade does not work. What I want you to try, though, is the Fusion Caliban. Use that as your main setup. You can use Ostring or Blood. You can use any weapon loadout that you want. And on maps where incendiary grenades can put in work, try that. You have the double knife trap in your back pocket. If all else fails, you have the last resort. You can combo it with other Solar 3.0 users. So maybe a Warlock is throwing fusion grenades. Maybe a Sunbreaker Titan's throwing thermites. You can combo it all. And if you have multiple teams that have the same goal, that just start chunking abilities in areas, it will cause ignitions. If you see an enemy, throw the knife first and the fusion, it's over. It is over. Crazy efficient. You see a Titan shield on the ground, throw both of them right next to it. The splash damage will get them. They will ignite. The utility is there. The lethality is there. You can take out supers, take out groups, take out corner campers, take out single targets. It's endless. This is the true way to run them. Way stronger than I thought, and I moved completely away from the wave launchers, the things that I was doing before. I can use whatever I want, and I just focus on that Calabombo combo. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button, and if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. If you've been here this long, thank you. You have all the information that you need, and if people left early, they won't. GG. I'm going to continue to main Caliban's hand, and once you try this, you're going to see why. You're going to see how easy it is to get going. I think that you're going to be impressed, and I think that you're really going to like it. Let's talk about it down below. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.